Hello, and welcome to Mind Your Head, a space for people to share their stories, talk openly and honestly about their own mental health challenges, and to give some listeners some comfort in knowing you're not alone. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we record this podcast, the Gubbi Gubbi people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous peoples. We honour their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture, and recognise their invaluable contributions they make to our communities. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. This episode is proudly supported by True Protein. Use the code MindYourHead at the checkout to score $25 off your next order. Right, AJ, we'll get into it. Welcome to Mind Your Head, mate. I've been really looking forward to this one.
Thank you.
You know, I've done a little bit of reading, and you've lived such a, amazing story pretty much through your whole life, and I really appreciate you being here and willing to go deep with me today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right. First of all, how's life treating you these days? Been a busy first half of the year. It's pretty crazy that we're in May already, aren't we?
It's wild.
A wild day.
Yeah, this year's gone so fast, way too fast actually. Been busy. Good with business, obviously. I've travelled a bit already this year, which has been cool as well. But yeah, been pretty flat out.
Pretty flat out, yeah. Business travels or holiday?
Yeah, business.
Yeah,
business really. Been to China a few times in the States, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I think the best the start for us to tell your story is probably at the beginning.
Yeah. Cool.
Can you tell me a little bit of what your childhood was like, and I guess not what people saw, but what was life like for you behind closed doors?
Yeah, I suppose growing up, I didn't have the sort of night. Well, I'm starting to learn it's a bit more normal than what I thought it was, but I didn't really have the normal childhood. I was quite embarrassed about sharing my journey up until like the last sort of 12, 14 months. I grew up in a household fueled with like domestic violence, alcoholism, in the housing commission. So it wasn't like the typical, like you see people with successful businesses now and you think, oh, their parents have helped them set them up. It wasn't the case. So I've been through a fair bit in my time. I've seen a lot from a very early age. Like my real dad left mum when I was 1. That obviously had like a massive impact on me and my family. And then my stepdad come into the picture quite early. He's a typical like worker in the 90s and early 2000s, road worker, where they just drink heaps of piss and come home, and it's pretty normal to be abusive and pretty toxic. So grew up in that household environment. When I was 14, I left home with my sister. We left home and got a place down in Palm Beach, which is I lived on a few mates' parents' couches and stuff, and that up until we got our own place. But we got a place in Palm Beach, which now would cost a couple of grand, but it was $170 for like a 2-bedroom unit.
That's sick.
Yeah, just on I think it's like near across from Tallabudgera Surf Club there. And then just worked a few random jobs, played footy. Always thought I was going to crack at playing footy, and that was my outlet. Like that was my family, that was my community, and that was my safety. So obviously started playing footy when I was 4 years old. Played under 7s for 3 years, and found my little family there. That was a place for me to escape what was going on at home and what I was experiencing. That was pretty rough, I suppose. Like stopped going to school, hung around with pretty bad and toxic people early on, because I was obviously attracted to that growing up in the household that I did, and then quickly realised that's not me as a person. I wanted to like make a difference, and had the ability to make a difference because I'm pretty driven and passionate when I get locked in on things, and been through a journey sort of since then.
Yeah, to say the least. Because that really resonated with me, because rugby for me was my outlet.
Yep.
I found out earlier on that, I couldn't silence the noise that was sort of going inside my head. Like I had a really, really wonderful childhood.
Yeah.
Amazing parents, amazing childhood, but I definitely battled some inner demons and some really bad head noise, and earlier on, like I didn't have the tools and the knowledge now to handle that and to regulate your own emotions and to silence the head noise.
Yeah.
And I found my outlet was rugby too. Like for 80 minutes on a Saturday, like that was my place. Like nothing else mattered in the world. Like I think it was like the first time I felt present in the moment. Everywhere else, I was either dwelling over the past or worrying about the future. But for 80 minutes on that Saturday, I was just like, yes, this is present in the moment.
It's crazy. Hey?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that you can identify that, because like that's exactly what I experienced. I still experience it to the day. It's why I can't let go of footy. It's like when you're not playing, you're thinking about like what happened. Like I being super anxious and stuff. I think about like conversations I had last week going, why did I say that? Like was that a weird hot handshake? Like, was it really awkward? Like what, like, and that happened like a week ago and I can't detach from it. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, oh shit, this is going to happen to me. Like the world's ending. Like, so it's like previous and then fast forward. Yeah. It's never like what's going on now in this moment. And then as soon as I cross that white line, he had a bit of white line fever, but like it's like I'm so locked in, I'm so present that it's like my world, and I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where did you grow up? Was it in Melbourne?
No, I grew up in Tweed Heads.
Oh, grew up in Tweed Heads.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sort of your real dad leaving earlier on. Yeah. How do you think that affected you, moving forward, growing up with that? I know you said your stepfather came into the picture. Did you have a role model or a father figure to look up to rely on?
I did, but they were inside the footy club.
Inside the footy club, so not at home?
Not at home, not really at home. So my stepdad, like, done as much as he could with the tools that he had. I suppose he probably grew up in a similar situation where his dad was a war veteran and loved drinking and stuff. Is probably pretty abusive. I've never seen that or experienced it from his father, but so what he had available to him at that time, he probably tried to do the best. Like, he tried to show me the right way, but it was like ineffective because it's not the proper way to do it. Like we've learnt now how to bring up kids, and we're still evolving and learning. So I never really had like a true father figure at home that I wanted to look up to. I didn't want to look up to someone that was like drinking piss every night and smoking Winnie Reds. And I still remember going, like, I was probably under 10, and he used to send me to the corner store to pick up a packet of smokes for him, and they would just give them to us on tick and like go back and give him his durries, and was like, what
fucking sort world,
of it's like it's a different world. But that, to me, that was pretty normal as well. But my father figures were all inside the footy club, and I still have so much respect for some of those older guys that sort of took me under their wing without even knowing what they were doing or what was happening at home, because I wasn't telling anyone what was happening at home.
Did you keep it pretty hidden?
Yeah, no one knew that I grew up in the housing commission. Like one of my good mates growing up, his dad was a doctor. Like, they grew up in like a really wealthy home. I'd like go and stay at his place, and they'd drop me off, but I'd get them to drop me off at a house like down the street, so they thought that's where I lived, but I really lived like down the road.
Were you ashamed of it?
Yeah, I was so ashamed. It was like, because it's like kids are ruthless, man. Like, if you rock up school in a pair of like Dunlops they're probably on trend now.
it's funny how all the fashion's coming back around again.
You'd be kicked or bashed for wearing that sort of stuff. But like, you get picked on for like not having like lunch, or like shoes were shit or whatever.
Hand-me-downs or anything like that.
Hand-me-downs. I grew up off hand-me-downs myself. It's like, so it was like, it was pretty embarrassing, and I like hid that for a long time. It wasn't until recently I caught up with that same guy, who now is the head of high performance at the Gold Coast Suns, and
is he really?
Like, like he's done really well. He's been there since his career started outside of school, and I told him, and he's like, "Fuck, I never knew that. Like, I actually never knew that." And like, it's pretty crazy. Was
it hard for you to hide that, to keep hiding it, as a kid growing up, and not only hide sort of what was happening about home, but maybe more so hiding, suppressing your emotions and hiding how you're really feeling? Like, could you ever feel that you could be yourself? I know at the footy club you probably, be more yourself. Yeah. But in life in general, could you sort of?
No, it's pretty exhausting, hey? Yeah. Like, it's really, really exhausting. And it always made me feel like really sick, like all the time. Like, I was always angry, like had butterflies and anxiety around it as well. So it's like, a real like exhausting process of like, what did I tell that person? Like just making sure that I kept it consistent.
Yeah, trying to keep up with the lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Like the
Yeah.
lie that I was living in my head, and I like programmed myself to do that so that I didn't have to be like embarrassed about it. For sure.
Because that's something that I sort of felt as well. As I think I got to a period of my life when I was sort of going through school, and I was always sort of seeking external validation and trying to get people pleasing, trying to get friends, trying to get popular, trying to get girls, and trying to get that attention.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that led me down a path of putting on masks for different situations to try to fit in, try to be liked, try to get that attention. So I think I didn't realize that I was doing that. I was, you know, whatever the girls liked, if they liked this band, I liked that band. You know, I would be, if they liked that sort of clothing, I liked that. You know, I was always just fitting myself in with the crowd. And, you know, like the trends change all the time. So you're constantly like,
it's exhausting.
Exhausting, man. Trying to keep up. And before I knew it, I think I went and saw a psychologist, and like, I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what values I stood for. I didn't know how, like, any morals, or I didn't know what interests I liked, because I was constantly changing. That I was like, hang on a second, like, what do I actually like? Because before I was just pretending to like all these things just to validate and get some attention. Did you go through any of that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like still, like even now, like it's crazy to think that people love me for me when on social media now, because I'm just being myself, like being a bit of an idiot in budgies and stuff. Like it's crazy to think that they actually like that, because before I was trying to be like so many different people that I'm actually not, and like it is really like toxic to be trying to show up like that like all the time. Like you lose yourself, and there's definitely some stuff I've read around like trying to be a people pleaser and like a yes person, not like not being true to yourself, like just agreeing to somebody because you want them to like you. And when your like internal like dialogue is like, no, you don't agree with that, but you're like, yes, I agree with this because I want to be cool, I want to be seen, I want to be heard and stuff. But like there's so much empowerment in being like, actually, no, I don't agree with you, mate. Like, and I think that people respect that a lot more. They start respecting your time more. They show up for you in different ways when you start being true to yourself, and you cannot do that when you're trying to put these facades on like for different scenarios just to try and fit in.
And I think people see through it straight away, don't they? Like
100%.
I know what we can tell if someone's being genuine or not.
Yeah.
When you're showing up as that authentic self.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people can tell.
100%.
You know?
You definitely see it on social media as well. If you're not true to yourself or authentic, like people aren't going to like or engage or connect or relate with your stuff.
They'll just keep scrolling.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. And like you can see when there's some videos that people post and you're like, oh, that's funny. And then you start following them, you're like, this guy's so fake. Like you're like, fuck you. I'm
See you later.
Like, yeah.
Did you feel did you feel loved at home?
I don't think so. Like, in all honesty, I've spoken about this a fair bit. It's like taken me, like, I'm 38 now. It's taken me like 35 years to like actually want to like hug people. Like, even my sister, like she says, like, it's so weird we don't hug each other. So now, like, when I see her, like, I really embrace her and stuff like that. Like, I think that's just because the way that we grew up, we didn't have that, like, true, like, love, like, that cuddle. So, like, now I find it, like, well, I don't anymore, but I used to find, like, really awkward to, like, hug someone when I meet them, or, like, even, like, shake people's hands and stuff like that. And then on the flip side of that, I've really found it hard for people to love me or let them love me. So I would always reject, like, if, like, I was dating or whatever and chicks would be, like, too full on or, like, love you, I'd be, like, I'd self-sabotage to, like, push them out of my life. Yeah, because I didn't know how to receive love. I didn't know for people to, like, show care for me and stuff like that.
In that way?
Yeah.
Do you think you deserved it?
No, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I didn't
deserve love.
It. Yeah. It's crazy to think that, hey? Yeah. Like, it's a wild...
It is, because I had my dad on the podcast. Yeah, and he went through his childhood. For years growing up, Dad never spoke about his childhood. Yeah, we don't know.
They don't.
We don't know his family. Never met my grandparents for years, and I always thought like you go around your friends and other friends, and they're all so close to their grandparents. And I was like, oh, we never had that growing up.
Yeah.
Like, and we started to get a bit older, started to ask a few questions, and we delved a little bit deeper into his childhood. And then I said, how about you come on the podcast? I'll tell you stuff that I've never told you, and you can tell me stuff that you've never told me.
Like I need to listen to that.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite episodes that I've done.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, deal. So I went through a really terrible part, pretty much from the age of 20 to 30. Yeah, probably that 10 years, from 20 to 30.
Yeah.
In that footy scene, drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
not dealing with your emotions, suppressing everything. It got to a point where I tried to take my own life.
Yeah.
Never talked to anyone about it. Never spoke to mum and dad about it. And I said, Dad, I'll tell you everything that's going on with me if you tell me what happened to your childhood.
Yeah.
And he spoke about, his dad, so my granddad came back from the war. Obviously, if they're calling it PTSD or shell shock or whatever it is, like he came back, just drank the house down, didn't deal with anything, and pretty much beat the shit of my dad, the kids, his mum.
Yeah.
Pretty much almost, you could think of it now as torture. Like, one of Dad's siblings, my uncle, he took his own life because of the trauma that he went through as a child. And, Dad was saying that, he would go to sleep at night and hear his mum getting raped by his dad.
Yeah.
As a 13, 14-year-old. And when he's saying this, in my head, I'm thinking, now I know why you are the way that you are. Because we used to sort of butt heads a little bit. And I'm thinking, why is Dad being like this? Like, why is Dad triggered by these sorts of things? And I never understood it because I didn't know Dad's childhood. I didn't know what he went through.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of friction there growing up. And when he was saying this, I was like, now I get it. Like, I get it. Now I know why you're like this.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And one of these things that growing up was, he when he was a father, he sort of wanted to change a few things, was like no alcohol, no abuse, none of that in the household. So our household was happy all the time.
Oh, that's good.
But one of the things that we sort of, the side effect was because it was all happy all the time, they hid a lot of stuff from us that would maybe, when mum and dad were either struggling or having fights or, healthy arguments that is fine in a relationship, they would hide it all from us.
Yeah. Okay.
So we never talked about problems because Dad wanted to keep a nice, peaceful household.
Yeah.
So without him even knowing, we grew up thinking if you had something going on, you would hide it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk about it.
Gotcha.
Right? So that was one of the things that we spoke deeply about, was he changed, 3 things from his childhood that meant the most to him, that affected him the most.
Yeah.
And the byproduct of that was we grew up in a household that we didn't talk about our emotions.
Or didn't know how to regulate them.
I couldn't put words to emotions or how to regulate my feelings.
Yeah.
These feelings would come up as a kid going through puberty. All these emotions and feelings were coming up, and I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know if they were bad or good. I didn't know how to regulate my own emotions. I would just get angry all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'll get angry that I'm getting angry, and it would be like snowball into this circle.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why am I like this? Like, why is it no one else talking about this? Is this only me? And, I voiced it to mum and dad a little bit about it when I was a kid, but I think what I said to Dad was that, kids don't listen, kids don't listen to your parents. They watch how you live.
Yeah.
So
correct.
like Dad would be like, oh, this is what you got to talk about it. And I'm like, well, you're not showing me how to do it. I'm not listening to you. I'm watching how you do it. As a kid growing up, like we would watch our role models.
Everything.
We would mirror everything.
Yeah.
So, you could tell us one thing, but if you're doing the opposite, then we would follow what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key things and takeaways I got from that conversation with Dad. And it's a pretty powerful one.
It's a pretty dark place with what you just said there around like you thought that you were like the only one feeling this. Because like up until like recently, like there's been times recently where I'm still like suicidal because I just feel like, fuck, there's something wrong with me. Like there's genuinely something wrong with me, and this isn't normal. And then like I speak about it on like my Instagram and what I'll share it, and the amount of people that message me and be like, I'm feeling exactly the same. It's like, as much as it fucking sucks to hear that, you sort of need to know that you've got your own little tribe and people are dealing with it, and like you too can get through this, and like it will pass as well. Like it's fucking crazy.
Because when you're in it, you know, it doesn't seem like there's light at the end of the tunnel.
No.
It doesn't seem like anyone's going through it. One of the best things, you know, someone was telling me is like, you're not the first one and you're not the last one to go through this.
Yeah, I love that saying.
You know, like everyone's going to go through something like this. And I remember I had a friend tell me right at the beginning of sort of my going into that dark tunnel, I remember a friend saying to me, he goes, you might not believe me right now, you might not believe it in yourself, but there'll be one day when you come out of that tunnel.
Yeah.
I can't tell you when it's going to be, but there'll be one day that you kind of come out of that. And it took me 10 years. And I messaged him.
Yeah, wow.
And I was like, remember that time you said that I was going to get out of the
cool.
tunnel? He was just like, yeah, I go, I'm out of it. You know, and I definitely do have my days where there's lows. I've gone through my own process of gone to see a psychiatrist and really get to the bottom of my mood swings and my days where I know when I wake up in the morning if I'm going to be in a low or high.
Yeah,
I know instantly, and people around me know as well.
Yeah.
And I never knew that growing up. And when I went to a psychiatrist, one of the things he said was, "Can you just ask your friends and family what you're actually like, and let them be honest with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, righto." And I remember saying to like one of my best friends who I've known since, you know, we were born at the same hospital, like, you know, a couple of months apart.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, you've always been like that." I go, "What do you mean I've always been like that?" He's just like, "You've always been moody. You've always been up and down. Like it's not bad that, you know, that becomes a problem for us. We just know how to tolerate you."
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And then I talked to mum and dad and they're like, yeah, no, you started changing when you were about 16. We could tell that things would trigger you, set you off. You know, you'll get your mood swings and stuff. And I was like, fuck, I had no idea that I was like this.
Yeah.
Went back to the psychiatrist and I was like, yeah, they've all pretty much said it. And then, so he's put me on a spectrum of bipolar, which sort of connects a lot of the dots and how I deal with certain things and my reaction to certain things and things that set me off and things that I'm constantly working on. And it's actually given me a bit of closure because before I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I fix this if I don't know what's going on? What can I do? And that's been probably like one of the most beautiful things is actually acknowledging and being aware of it.
Yeah.
Whereas before I would push it away.
Yeah.
I would pretend like it didn't exist. I would pretend like these people are telling lies. Like I'm not really like this,
100%.
you know? I was always in denial.
Yeah.
Never actually took accountability and responsibility for how I'm acting or the things that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And now it's to a point where I almost have a checklist of when I'm in a low, I have a checklist of what I need to be doing to get myself out of the low. Yeah. So it's like I wake up, it'll be like either some sort of training, exercise, sauna and cold plunge straight away. What am I eating? And then if I'm diving into something that's, you know, sparking my creativity. And before you know it, after I sort of checklist those things, out of that low cycle, out of that cycle. Whereas before I would just let it consume me, and before you know it, 3 or 4 days have passed. And I've been a prick for 3 or 4 days. And I've come out of it and everything's all good. And I remember Jordan, my partner, sitting me down and, you know, she gave me an ultimatum pretty much. And we've been together for 5 years at that point, and she gave me an ultimatum because I was having a few like all these episodes where I would just lose control. And she said, "Look, I love you, I want to be with you, but I can't, you know, if we want to have kids, I can't accept that standard if we're going to have, you know, bring kids into the picture. Like I can't let you do that around our kids. So you either search for answers, you know, be a better version of yourself, or like this is going to be it." And I needed that because for my whole life, I knew something was up. At the back of my head, I always knew, like when I get into these lows, I always knew like something's not right here. But I was too afraid to, you know, own it, seek answers, try to figure out what was actually going on. And that push that she gave me was like, you know, almost like a crossroads. You know, did you go through any turning points yourself?
Yeah, I went through a few turning points. I obviously tried the psychologist thing and really found it really hard to relate because, like, for me, like they're not going through what I've been through, and I find it so bloody hard for them to like even comprehend what I've been through, or even like, and I wouldn't be honest with them because I still felt like they were judging me. Like there's a million things I could have told them, and I just didn't because like I've seen a lot of shit like growing up in that household and been in a lot of circumstances that people wouldn't want to be in. And I was still too afraid to tell them that. and like I just would never connect with him. One I did connect with, but he retired like after my third session. Hopefully not from me, but like
It's too much.
it is too much of that. But he just said like, because I was trying to give up playing footy at that stage, and he was like, footy's your family. Like this is why you're going for a cycle. Because I was trying to pull away from that, and I'm going, what's wrong with me? Like, what is genuinely wrong with me? Why am I losing control of everything? And he's like, well, you're trying to pull away from what your perceived family and safe space is. So like, stay connected to that any way that you can. There was that, and just like a few internal shifts that I've had like over the time is like probably like sharing my story has probably been the most empowering thing that I could have done, and being okay and being like, I don't give a fuck what people will think now, because like I'm 38, and like if they're gonna say shit about what happened when I was like a young fella, then that's on them, not on me. So that's been like a massive shift for me, and like being able to identify that, like I'm exactly the same as you. Why I haven't been like diagnosed with anything, because I just refuse to go and see them. Like I've dealt with it myself, and I know what triggers me, and I know like, mate, I like if I get in those stages, I'm the same. I need to move, need sauna, ice bath. I like love going and watching like just waves, bro. Like I'll just go
Love the
park
beach.
up on the hill and just watch waves. Like I'm not a surfer or anything. I grew up surfing and stuff, but I'm like not skillful at it, pretty unco. But I'll just sit there and watch it. I don't even need to touch the water or sand. I'll just sit up there and just like gaze into the ocean and just like spend a lot of time in my own head. So like I get triggered by such random shit like all the time, and I don't realize the trigger until after I've sat with my thoughts.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's probably like the skill that I learned was I used to be the same as I only understood the trigger after it's happened. And I think one of the proudest things and one of the things that I've really worked on is understanding the trigger in the moment.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's been something that's like been a real challenge for me, and it's taken me, 10 or 12 years to actually understand like when I'm being triggered in the moment, I would always just either react, respond, whatever
Switch
it is.
off.
Yeah, I would have to like just sit there and understand why is it triggering me? What's something that I still haven't healed from?
Yeah.
Is that something that one of the biggest, like, obviously learnings that you've had is learning to let go?
Yeah.
Either the old you.
Yeah,
the old identity, I guess.
It's pretty hard.
It's
a juggle, for sure. Like, there's still stuff where I'm like, why did I even let that trigger me? Like, but there's just so many like wounds that haven't been fully healed yet as well. Like even when I go on podcasts and stuff and I start talking, like there's moments I've watched a podcast back of me. I hate listening to my own voice and stuff, but I always like forget what I said, so I like want to go back and listen. And then I can see like in the moment where my mind goes elsewhere because I'm like, remember something that's happened that I've blacked out before because of like the trauma side of things. And like that's like something that I'm constantly dealing with. Like there's stuff that I remember like all the time. Like when you said the thing about like when you were going through puberty and you like were like that's when you started reacting. I'm like, fuck, like most parents taught kids how to go through puberty, or like my sisters and stuff, like when they went through like getting their period or whatever, like there was no one there to tell my sisters what to do or like how they should do it, or like even like sex from an early age. Like there was no education around that because like it was just such a fucking weird household.
It's do you want to share what's anything that's a story that's happened or things that you've seen? Do you speak about it? I'm not too sure.
Honestly, every Thursday night, like payday, like my stepdad would go to the local pub down at Tweed, Toby's Tavern, come home fucking pissed as, bash mum. Like I'd get standing between them, mum would be screaming. Like I still can hear her now, like talking about it. Like just she would break me and him up fighting. I'm like a fucking 12-year-old boy, man. Like what like I didn't do anything wrong. So there was all that. We'd go and stay in motels or sleep in the car and stuff like that. And that was really, really traumatic growing up, like for sure. And just like seeing stuff at parties when I was like really young as well. Like I also like really struggled from a young age. I think I was 9. I still remember the same couch that I was in. Like it was a brown leather couch. Still remember the smells of that day. So the first day that I got fearful of death, like, and started thinking like, what happens after you die? And like my mind spiraled out of control. And I still have panic attacks to these days of like when I'm starting to fall asleep and I start fearing of that. And like trying to tell that to your parents that are so disengaged from you as a 9-year-old, it's like, one, you're too scared to say anything for the fear of like being judged or being called like weird or whatever.
Weak or whatever it is.
Yeah, weak. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, you're weak. Like, what is wrong with you?
Grow
That was
up.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, there's something wrong with you. Of course there is fucking something wrong with
Look how
me.
I'm living.
I'm dealing
Yeah,
dealing with this shit. So like, just not having that support and that growing up, or like having that understanding, or like parents with the education to be like, we need to like help my child through this situation, because he's battling something that like isn't his fault. Like, that's,
and he's just dealt that hand. And he's got to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the relationship like with your sisters and your mum?
Yeah, pretty good. Like,
Is it?
Yeah, it's good. Like, we've been through a lot, like, together as a family. Mum's still with my stepdad to this day. They come and watch me play footy. They came to my house on Mother's Day on Sunday for like, I just did like a little bit of a picnic and stuff. And while like the wounds are sort of healed in that perspective, there's still like a lot of things that like trigger me still, for sure. But I just know how to deal with them.
Has there been open dialogue about the childhood and
Yeah, I suppose Mum's listened to a fair few of my podcast. Before I went on and started talking about it, I called her and I said, Mum, like, you're probably not going to like some of the stuff I said because it's going to trigger you potentially, or like shine a light on you that you don't want shine to your friends and family and like colleagues and stuff like that if they see it. But she's been really good with it. Like, she's like, this was your childhood and you need to share your story, because like there's other people out there dealing with similar situations that probably don't have anyone to open up to, or don't understand, or could potentially take their life because they just feel like they're alone. And then actually being able to be inspired by it, like my story, is pretty cool. Like, why some of the stuff definitely does hurt her, she understands why I'm doing it, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if my stepdad knows because he's not on social media or anything like that, but like we have a good enough relationship to sit down in the same room together. And like I said before, is like he probably experienced a very similar situation to your dad, because his father was a war veteran as well, and the tools that he was given, he just followed.
Got passed down to him.
Yeah, got passed down, and like while like it's fucking torture and traumatic, and like I'm dealing with this on a daily basis, like even like still struggle with sleep some nights and stuff like that. That was the reality that I grew up in, and now it's my chance and my opportunity to ensure that my children don't go up in that same situation, or like if they do have mental health issues from like generational trauma or whatever it might be, I'm there to support them. I'm so loving. I've got 3 daughters, and I'm so I'm like crazy affectionate with them, bro. Like. Like, just fucking hug and kiss them all the time. Like, I would let them sleep in my bed, like, just anything just to make them happy and stuff like that. But ensuring that they're not scared of raising that they have issues or concerns and stuff like that. Being okay with not feeling okay as well, like being able to go, Dad, like I'm feeling off, like I want that real connection and bond with them. And I think being girls, it's a bit easier. If I had like a
little version of you,
like a
little terrier,
probably fucking struggle, because like I'd want to help, and he'd probably be like real receptive of helping. So maybe one day I'll do.
Did fatherhood ever scare you at all?
Yeah, I think it does all the time. Like, definitely does. Like, when I go into a dark place myself, even now, knowing that I have the girls, like I'll never do anything. But like even recently I've been in time, like driving in the car, and I'm like, fuck, these kids don't deserve my problems. Like, they don't deserve my reactivity to some situations, or like stuff that I get triggered by, and like they don't deserve, like, because the way that I deal with things is like something would trigger me, and then like my walls go off up, like, and I really like, you could be saying something to me and I'd just be like,
completely
I don't
shut
even
out.
know like what they've even said, or like any of these things, like, and to me, that's me not being present with the girls. So that starts like inside my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was trying to deal with something and these kids were wanting my attention and I was like not there for them. Like, they don't deserve that.
Yeah,
Like,
that thought, like, they deserve better.
they deserve better. And I'm like, maybe like they would be so much better off if I wasn't here. Like, if I wasn't on this earth for them to deal with or see this, or like, is that them making them feel like, is that going to make them feel like that when they're my age? Like, and that's where I'm like, that's where I get scared.
Well, that's something that really scares me, is that I haven't got kids, but something that almost was my turning point and made me do that inner work and try to thaw out some things in my life was I was terrified of passing something on to my kids.
Yeah.
I was terrified, I've done a little bit of research around, passing pain and, kids inheriting trauma, generational trauma. And I don't know if you're familiar with Gabor Mate. He's a sort of an expert in trauma and early child development. He actually did a seminar here on the Gold Coast a couple of months ago. And we went and saw him, and we went in early to do a Q&A. And I had a question prepared for him. Was how do I not pass down trauma to my kids?
Oh, that's cool.
Because it's something that I really worry about, because I think about sort of my dad and what's happened is I think he never seen a psychologist. He never spoke about what happened to him as a kid. He did his very, very best, and he's an amazing father. He did his very, very best at hiding all that stuff from us. But I think the emotional trauma of it has crept into his life and filtered down to us as kids without him even knowing about that stuff. And I think it's my responsibility to nip that in the bud. I wanted to face that emotional trauma head on, that I don't want to keep passing it down generational. And before I could get up and ask that question, a lady got up and she asked the exact same question. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, like, let's hear it then. And he was like,
so you're not the only one.
I'm not the only one, and she said the exact same thing. She's terrified. And he goes, so what, by you being terrified, are you terrified of repeating something that's happened to you? And she was like, yeah, something that happened in the past, that her parents did to her. And he said, well, what would it mean to you if your parents got to know themselves before they had kids? Like, what would that mean to you? And she goes, oh, it would mean the world. Like, I'll be able to open up and feel safe around my parents and talk to them. And he's like, oh, well, when have they done that? And she goes, oh, well, I'm 35 and they're just starting to do that journey now. And he said to her, well, have you started that journey? She's, I started that journey 10 years ago. He goes, you're on the right path.
That's cool.
He's like, you're gonna stuff up. He goes, there's no such thing as perfect parenting.
Spot on.
You're gonna stuff up. All right. But he goes, the best thing you could possibly do to be the best parent is to be the best version of yourself.
Correct.
And that's something that struck a chord with me, to know that, I'm on the right track. Like, I'm trying to sort out who I am as a person. I'm trying to thaw out these things that trigger me. I'm trying to be more present in the moment. That's going to allow me to be, a better father.
For sure. Yeah, that's spot on. Like, that gave me goosebumps, because I think about it all the time, bro. Like, it's like, nobody's fucking perfect. And if they're perfect, they're lying. Like, they're 100% lying or hiding, or like just not happy with themselves or whatever it might be. But like, I think the best thing for kids to see, and like, I'm not a child psychologist, I have never studied it, but like, my responses that I get from my daughters is like, something would trigger me really bad, I'll shut off, or I'll like be like, fuck, like just throw a little tantrum, like a little man tantrum out of nowhere. Like, I'm really not like abusive. I'd never take it out on my kids, but like, there's times where I'm like, fuck, like, what the fuck is wrong? Like,
internally, you're just
and like, but they can sense it, right? And I just, like, the best thing that I've ever been able to do is like, get on their level, like actually like get down to their eye contact, so they're not thinking that I'm like this overpowering man, like looking down on them, but like, it's like, I'm like,
equals.
I'm so sorry. Like, look at me in the eyes and be like, I'm so sorry for reacting like to you. Like, my biggest thing is, I'll share a situation. It's like, my daughter will run. I'll be like, don't run, don't run. She trips over, cuts her feet open on oysters. And I'm like, I told you not to go down there. Like, this is like what we
Listen
grew up
to
with.
me.
Like, listen to me. I told you this was going to happen. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, my reaction was to get angry.
Yeah.
And because that's like what was ingrained in me. But like, the next level on that is like getting down to their level, sitting down and say, oh, I'm so sorry for reacting like that. The reason I reacted like that was because like I was telling you not to do this, and this is how I was brought up to react like this, but I'm like really sorry, that won't happen again. Like, I'm not going to get angry at you in the same situation.
Do you say
again.
that to her?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
I love that.
Yeah. Like, I'm not like, I'm so sorry. Like, that was not called for. Like, that was not me, but this is why I did it.
You give them reasons.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, that's amazing. Got that open dialogue with them.
Yeah, all the time. Like, whenever I like feel like I haven't, and I'm like there'll be something that I attach myself to work, like with work, and because like my business is 24/7. It's an online business. We're selling like everywhere. So people wants my attention everywhere. I'll be like, oh, there would be a message and I just can't let it go. So I'll like reply to it. And then if I'm like ignoring my daughter in a way, or one of my daughters in a way, I'll make sure like I go, so sorry that I wasn't present with you. Like, let's talk about what was happening. And they, that helps them open up heaps, hey. But like 10 years ago, there's no way I would have been able to say that would be my reaction, like at all. It's like you got to do the work. You really got to do the work to ensure that you're the best version of yourself for your kids.
Yeah, and it's okay. I think people need to know that it's okay when you do stuff up.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is that you apologize, but then you also give reasons.
Yeah.
So they understand why it's happening.
Yeah.
Because for my dad, he would say sorry, but I wouldn't understand why he's like this.
Yeah.
You know, but you're giving them reasons, and what happened to you. This is what's happened to me. This is what I'm sort of reacting. I won't happen again.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because obviously your kids are going to do this exact same thing for you, and have that open dialogue and not be afraid to talk to dad about things.
I think it's a big thing around emotional regulation as well. If they don't know how to regulate their emotions and they like crack the shits for no reason and don't know why they're cracking the shits or whatever, like, or upset, and they don't know how to regulate their emotions, it's okay to, like, that's what I say to them, like, it's okay to cry and be upset, but like learn how to regulate those emotions, like through me. Like, I'm going to teach you how to be safe, like have a safe spot to be emotional, I suppose.
If you go back to that, that younger self, say 13 or 14 years old, and you could sit with him for a moment, what would you say to him?
Yeah, I'd 100% say, like, as much as it sucks what you're about to go through and what journey you're about to take on, and how much you feel embarrassed by it, and like you're going to see some really shit stuff, but it's going to shape you into the person that you need to be for the world. Like, just lean into it. Like, lean into the fact that you're going to like live in a car and sleep on couches and do all of these, but don't be embarrassed. Just keep showing up day to day and keep chipping away, because something will stick. And that's like, at the end of the day, that's where I'm at now. And this is going to teach you resilience. Like, this is going to teach you how to be the most resilient person possible. And teach you like what you don't want to be as well.
It's amazing, because I heard a Denzel Washington quote, and he said, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship." Yeah. When someone's got it easy, had an easy life, that's actually a greater threat to progress than if you've had a difficult upbringing, a difficult life. Yeah. You're almost more resilient, more motivated, more hardened to get after it and to achieve something in life.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think comfort is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Like, it's like money is, but also comfort is. Like, if you've had it comfortably, like, it would be really hard to find. Like, I love my back against the wall. Like, I'm like, I love putting myself in situations where it's like I excel way more when I've got some sort of resistance to breakthrough, and I perform way better. Like it's like same with footy. I like love my back. I love being the underdog.
Yeah.
Like it's
I love that challenge.
Yeah, I love the challenge.
It probably makes the win even sweeter, doesn't it?
100% like it. But I think if I was comfortable, I actually get shitty when I get comfortable. I find myself in real shitty headspaces. Like if I start getting comfortably, like I'm comfortably financially, but like if I'm like overly comfortable financially, I'm like, oh, it's a bit easier to say like just cruise, and I fucking hate cruising. I get so frustrated with myself. So I hate being comfortable.
Is that a fear of yours, is being content, do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it?
Yeah. Like I'm pretty content in life.
Yeah, but
also,
in terms of like chasing things and wanting more, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. Like I love like testing, and like my mate calls me Mr. 1000%, because like when I go all in on something, I'm like all in. Like I'm so attached and so driven and passionate by it. But it's just about like, I suppose the biggest thing is like testing your own limits, right? Like if you're not testing your own limits, like there's no way you can grow. Like you can't grow from comfortability
at all.
You physically can't grow because you're like, oh, I'm not going to have that conversation because I don't need to. But it's like, if that's all you've got, you need to have that conversation. Like you need to challenge yourself and like have something to move forward to.
Is that where you found your most growth during those difficult times?
Yeah. I found all my growth through that. Like I've really been able to push through challenges and like learn to grow from them. I think the biggest things is like I never take anything as like a loss, like or a failure. I'm always like, I'm going to grow from this. Like I'll find something that helps me get to the next level from that failure or lesson.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What does your mental health look like today?
Oh, it's as you said before, it's like
up and down.
Up and down.
Is it?
Yeah, it's up and down. Like I do everything possibly to set myself up for like a really good day. I know the routine that I need to have every morning, but like in saying that, I was reading an article I posted about it today. Lululemon done like a bit of research in 2024 that said like wellness is the leading cause of burnout at the moment, and I just was like, what the fuck? I'm selling wellness products. Like I need to be across this.
Yeah.
And Australia and New Zealand were the highest impacted areas of like wellness burnout, and it's because like there's this social expectation on you need to like wake up at 4 a.m, you need to journal, you need ice bath, sauna, all this, like you're doing a full-time job before going to work. So you're like burning yourself out. And for me, I've found like naturally, before I even seen that article, I found like I don't need to be doing all these things. I just need to do the two things that work for me, and that's like movement and like sauna. Like really, like I move, I have a sauna, I'm set up for the day. Like I'd say 3, connection. Like I need that connection with my kids.
Do you think it's just us trying to chase perfection?
Correct. Yeah,
you know, that we're trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
When really, I saw a podcast, and it was a really good quote. It said, perfection isn't a destination, it's a direction.
Yeah.
So I think people always think, if I do all the things, I'm going to, reach that final goal.
Yeah.
And if I don't find that, reach that final goal, I'm not doing enough. I've got to do more. I keep got to do more because I'm not reaching that goal. And it's just like,
it's intense.
It's not the goal. It's the direction you're traveling in. So it's like what you said, 3 things, do it every day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reach that goal, but I'm going to head towards it.
Yeah.
There's no final destination because every day there's new challenges, there's new setbacks, there's new things you got to go through.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep those goals going, you're in that right direction.
100%.
And I think we've got to take the pressure off ourselves and try not to be perfect all the time. And like, there's things that we all should be doing well.
Yeah.
Getting your nutrition going good, but some days we don't do it good.
You got to be okay with like 80%, right? Like if you're absolutely putting yourself through the ringer because you didn't eat healthy that one day.
Yeah.
It's like you got to stop being so like narrow-minded and so focused on what the society is telling you to do because you've seen old mate on social media do this massive checklist of shit before he went to work. That's unrealistic. That's his social media. That's his highlight.
That's his life.
He could have shot that over 5 days.
Yeah.
Like not then, but you're so programmed to think, oh, that's the reality I need to live. Like that's the reality. When the truth is, you just need to do what works for you. You need to be okay with having shit days and be able to accept them, like, and not see them as a fallback. Even like last week, I was sick, so Sunday through till like Thursday, I've been pretty much sick. I didn't run as much as I normally did. Like my old me would have been like
filthy.
Yeah, filthy. You little slob. Like you've gone so far back. Like you're a loser. Like like
Same.
all of this.
I go through that exact same thing too.
But we just got to like pull back, look at it holistically. Like the same with like the way the world moves, right? Like we got to stop like looking like putting a spotlight on this little moment and then like go, okay, this has been like the journey across it and I've had this and that and I'm still okay. Like I've had these peaks and troughs. I'm still fine. So if you can like zoom out and see that it's okay to have those shit days, as long as you're not stacking shit days on shit days for like a couple of years, like you're actually improving yourself, it's going to be okay.
It's the realest thing that people don't put on social media is that, like you said before, is the highlight reel. Everyone just puts the highlight reel thinking that everyone should have highlight reels every day. When the realest thing is that people have bad days. Bad moments in life.
100%.
You know, and I wish more people was more like, showed more real stuff on social media. And like, I don't know, your experiences with social media. I actually didn't have social media before the podcast. I got rid of it. I was like,
that's so good.
It was wasting my time. It almost became toxic. I wasn't in a good headspace myself, and it was
Your outlet.
Yeah, it was. I was too focused on it. I was too, motivated by what was happening on there, thinking that was the real life. So I got rid of it. I was like, no, I don't need it in my life. And it was a really, really big challenge, to be honest with you, getting the podcast and getting social media back, and then putting the time and effort into growing the podcast. Connecting with people, replying to messages and that sort of thing, which is something I'm not naturally, I wouldn't say gifted at, but I don't enjoy it, to be honest with you. I like that, people engaging, that sort of thing. But in terms of putting all that effort on social media, I love this bit. I love chatting with you. So that social media aspect was, yes, I mean, it's still really challenging, like being on there, doing all the right things, the posts, to get the right engagement, and all that sort of stuff doesn't come naturally to me at all. And it's been a bit of a battle, and it's almost, I've got to put boundaries in place of when to go on social media, when not to go on social media. When's it? Is this work? This is a work time. Before bed, early in the mornings, like what you said before, when you've got your kids are wanting your attention or looking at you, and you're sort of at work or on social media. I feel the same way, where I've got to put boundaries in place, where I've like, all right, this is the time to be on it, and then there's times not to be on it, because that balance can go sway the other way, and it can become toxic.
I just took something from that. And, like how you said before, you're like a people pleaser. The biggest way to break that is setting boundaries.
Yes.
Like boundaries are so important for your own
self-worth.
Everything. And being a people pleaser is like, I got no fucking boundaries. Like boundaries, what are they? Like hit me with whatever you got. Like as soon as you start implementing boundaries, it's so cool. I think as much as I love social media and being able to share my journey and share my story and hopefully make people laugh at the shit I do on my social media, it's still such a toxic place. Like I wish if kids didn't have it. Like my kids don't get devices. I
was going to ask you that. So what's your your rules and theories behind that?
Rules and theories behind that is like, I know that when I'm feeling shit, my natural reaction previously, and still sometimes, is to, like if I'm feeling really dark or whatever, I just doom scroll. Unpurposely, to try and escape what's going in my head. And then I connect, I'm like, shit, put this down. It's like, let's do some work. Let's go to work. But like my daughter's 10, 8 and 1.5. So I've got a bit of a gap. The older girls watch like one YouTube a week. That's pretty much it. And it needs to be educational, but not like school educational. I let them watch like Brody Moss, which is like YBS, like fishing and camping and like just living, bro, like in
life skills
that they don't teach you. And they love him, like they just love watching Brody Moss, and so they watch that. when we go out to dinner, or even like they don't have phone. They will never have a phone. They'll never have an iPad. We've got iPads at home that are like for work, and they just not allowed on them at all. At school, they use the computer because it's education.
Yeah.
But yeah, at home it's like no phones, no TVs, like nothing. My youngest daughter's like seen a TV once because I had the footy on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you find that other people are like, how do you do that?
Judgy.
Yeah, judgy. Yeah. Do you find that? Because I went out to dinner with Jordan and her boss and her family.
Yeah.
Mum and dad, 2 young kids, 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
They came in, and I've got mates with kids, and straight away if you're at dinner, iPad goes up, phone goes up.
Yeah.
There you go, and the kids are absorbed by it.
Yeah.
These kids come in, I'm thinking this is a 7:30 dinner.
Yeah.
And they brought the 2 kids along, and I'm thinking they're gonna be asleep, they're gonna struggle, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They've got their crayons, they've got a couple of puzzles, and they're at the dinner table,
Yeah.
not saying a word, and they're just for 3 hours.
Yeah.
They'll go, Dad, another puzzle. He's like, yeah, no worries. Brings another puzzle.
That's
there you go,
sweet.
back, and
I
goes
love
back.
that.
And we were there for a while, and I'm thinking, didn't go around phones or iPads or anything. He goes, nah, we've never done it. We never will do it.
And
like
they
you
know
said,
how to socialise.
yeah, and like you said, the youngest boy loves Steve Irwin. All he watches on YouTube is Steve Irwin. Goes to Australia Zoo all the time. Tells me all the animals. Was educating me on snakes and stuff. He's 7 or 8 years old. I'm like, how did you know that? I watch Steve Irwin every day.
Fuck.
And I talked to the parents. I was like, so how did you do it? And she goes, there's no secret. You just don't give in and like stick to it. Be strict with it.
Yeah.
And just don't give in. Before you know it, like it's not as hard as what'd she say? It's not as hard as people make it out to be.
Correct. Yeah.
I think I think when the kid starts sort of screaming or that sort of thing, it's very easy to give into it. Quick fix.
Yeah.
But the longer you stick at it, the better it is in the long run.
100%.
Yeah.
Like for your connection with them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They can have eye-to-eye contact with you. They don't like I think that phones are like going to cause a lot of issues with human connection and stuff like that because it's easy just to text someone, not actually have like an open, honest conversation and sit down with them. I hate seeing at dinners when like kids are like on their iPad and like eating and their parents are just sitting there watching them.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
thinking, why are we out to dinner for?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah.
I actually not even going to lie. Last night I seen this post on social media about this topic, and I went to town on it. Like, yeah. And like, because some lady had wrote, like it was the post was, I'm happy to share with you. It was around like parents taking their kids out for dinner and giving them iPads and stuff like that straight away. And this one person that has like a big following was like, I don't agree with that. I think you need to respect everyone else in the restaurant, and they're not having kids running around and all of this, like just give them the iPad, like it's the way that we can date.
Oh, right.
And I just was like, jumped on there. I like seen her comment and I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm going to say something here. I'm like, so what did your parents do when they took you out to dinner? Yeah. Like
when we didn't have iPads and that sort of thing.
Did they care? Did your parents care if you were running around in the restaurant? And did they care that they couldn't have one-on-one conversation with each other while you sat there on your iPad? They didn't have that. And then she come back and she's like, no, I said that this is our only way of connecting. And I'm like, well, you could connect as a family. Like I got so frustrated because I'm like, you are like neglecting your kids. You're taking them out. You're showing them, hey, we can go have like this really nice dinner, but you don't need to be engaged. Yeah. Like you can just sit on your phone and just like do whatever. Yeah. Me and Dad are going to sit here and talk, but we're not going to involve you. So you're not important to us or the conversations that we're having. Yeah.
It's almost putting that same amount of effort in, isn't it?
Yeah.
The energy and effort.
And it's not fucking hard. Yeah. Like every restaurant you go to, you can just say to them, hey, have you got like crayons or something? They all have them. Every single, like even real nice restaurants, they've got crayons and stuff for kids to draw. And like the minute you can just like do that is the minute you win back your child's like you got to think about it like the kid might be happy now, but when the kid's going through a relationship issue when they're 25, something's happening at their home and they are too scared to come and talk to you about it. You can only blame yourself.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like building that bond that you're doing with your daughters and, especially with young girls on social media.
Yeah.
You know yourself, like
Yeah.
the things that you see on social media now, the almost the corruption in leading young people, especially young girls,
Yeah.
down that path of social media.
Yeah.
It can be very damaging for them,
100%.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like this social expectation is you got to look, feel, be. Like, you got to be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like you've got to use this filter, do this.
Yes.
You got to have Botox. Like you fucking what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just got to be yourself,
Yeah.
and people will love you. Like
Yeah.
people will love you. You'll find your tribe.
And that's the new challenge nowadays is that, this, if you're not onto it, if you're not on with your kids with the social media,
Yeah.
they spend more time with what's online than actually with their parents.
Correct. Yeah.
And so they're being more influenced of what they see online rather than what you're telling them
the
at home.
reality is online.
Exactly, not reality here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a robot.
Yeah.
Your kids are just going to be so robotic.
Me and Jordan have this conversation all the time around
so
around the social media stuff. So we're it's something that we're very like it means a lot to us of how do we navigate that space when it does happen, because I can't imagine what it's going to be like 5, 6, 7 years from now.
Oh yeah. I'm
yeah.
actually like.
We don't have the answers. It's something when we go on dinner dates, like it takes up hours of our time. Like, what do we do here? What do we do here?
Yeah.
Like, what's your ideas around that? And like, what someone else has done. So we're trying to figure it out before it even happens.
That's cool. I'm glad that you're doing it, because most people will just go for that easy, quick fix.
Yeah. I've always asked my guests, what are your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life? For me, it's movement, community, and good nutrition. I've learned that what you fill your body with plays a massive role in how you feel physically and mentally. That's why I use True Protein. They're an Aussie brand doing things the right way. Clean, natural supplements with no artificial additives or fillers. Everything's made in-house in Sydney's northern beaches using the highest quality ingredients sourced from around the world. Whether it's supporting energy, improving focus, or reducing fatigue, their products genuinely help me show up better every single day. And just like Mind Your Head, they live by values I stand by. Be true, be you, and take care of your whole self. Yeah, let's get into, we talked a little bit about, starting a business.
Yeah.
Revel Saunas.
Yeah.
What were some of the fears earlier on starting a business?
There's like a lot of fears, and that I've had a couple of other businesses fail. There's like a lot of self-doubt that creeps in. I suppose the biggest fear for everybody starting a business is failure, and being able to be okay with failing is something that like is really hard for people to do. That a lot of people say, oh, I'm okay to fail, but in the reality of it, they're not going to take the risk. And that's going back on that resilience piece. Is like growing up, all I had was failure, and I still got through it. So like if I start a business and it fails, I know I can go again. Like I know that I can pick up the pieces, learn from it, and go. And every time I've started a business and it's failed, I've taken something and adapted it into the new business, which is like expedited the process of starting or shutting down that business. So there was like one business that before I started Revel that we'd done all this innovation with it. It's a mental health product. So it's like during COVID, we'd done a whole heap of consumer research and quantitative and qualitative research of people actually like saying there's a need for this product. There's a pair of noise cancelling headphones that had biometric sensors through them, and then EEG and ECG and pulse. Like it could read your pulse and breath rate and stuff, sort of like the Whoop but for your brain.
Yeah.
And then it would talk to an app and you would meditate, because like I know the power of meditation. I know the power of breath work. But when I put it on Spotify, it's like really hard for me to like actually do it.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this app was like it would read where your brainwave activity, your heart rate was, and know that your brain's like drifted off to where my brain goes, and that's like overthinking it, and be like, hey AJ, just going to pull you back into this breath, like, and change the game as it's going through. Like
does it on the go?
Yeah, it does it on the go. So I launched that in the US, and we got like a lot of traction. So with it, and I was getting it manufactured. Like we got a patent put on it, and it quickly realized like the cost of educating. Like while we done all this pre-work and research saying that yes, there's a need for it. So when time come to crunch, they would see it on like social media or advertising, and they'd be like, I sort of understand what it's going to do, but I'm not sure it's going to work for me. So it's like costing heaps to educate the consumer on that. It would generally work for anyone. So we decided like to pull the pin on that, and that was really hard because I'm so attached to like helping people with their mental health journeys and stuff like that. And that, decided to clip it. Cost me a fair bit. But like that was like a failure that I learnt a lot from. I wouldn't call it a failure at all. It's just like I knew from previously like when to cut this business off. And then at the same time I knew that saunas and ice baths were
And that's
big.
that's a skill in itself, is knowing when to cut it off, eh? Do you think
100%.
that what sets you apart to a lot of people is like your ability to overcome failure and not look at it as a, you know, as almost as a negative thing?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, you've got to cut ties with it.
Yeah.
But it's like reinforce your direction that you want to go to, rather than put you back. You go, all right, this is actually where I want to go.
Yeah.
Take all the lessons onto the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like most people would have just got venture capital funding.
Yeah.
Like if we had the opportunity to do that. But I would have just been like constantly just throwing money at it when like that's something that I don't really want to do. So I was quick to like go, okay, let's move on. But most people wouldn't do that. They would just throw everything they had at it.
Yeah.
And then they would fail from that, and then they wouldn't pick up and go again. I picked up and went again pretty quick.
So was that Revel Saunas when you picked up again straight away?
Yeah, well, before I even made the decision to cut it off, I was already doing the sourcing and product development for the saunas because I knew the direction that the headphones were going in, and I'd sort of made it up in my mind. It was just about like winding it down the right way.
Yeah.
So I was doing that and launched Revel.
Why the saunas? I know that I've. What benefits have you found from using saunas? Have you always been a long time sauna user, and obviously with the cold plunge too? Yeah,
cold plunge was something that like I obviously did a lot in my footy. But the reality of it, we were never really cold plunging properly because we were jumping into like a wheelie bin
full of ice. Yeah.
And like you've got this thermal layer around you, so you're like, I should have just had a shower. I would have got the same like impact, but in the mind of it, like the physios and there's doctors and that were like, you got to do this, like this is going to help. The evolution of the ice baths has been pretty cool. So I've always done them. I never used them as like a mental health release or mental health supplement in a way until probably 2020, like
around COVID.
Around COVID. And like it wasn't that big of a thing. Like we're starting to see it. But saunas, like they're just so like the impact that a sauna has is so drastic. Like for all different walks of life. Like it's got the mental health component. It's got like the ability to jump in the sauna, automatically disengages you from your phone because you can't take it in there. Your phone's going to overheat. So you're like forced into like, your own head. Like you're forced into dealing with whatever's going on. You're forced to breathe. Like you've got to, it's hard. Being in a sauna is hard. And then it obviously has all the cardiovascular benefits, like improves your cardiovascular, improves blood circulation. Like you start like seeing impacts on your VO2. Like my VO2 max at a 38-year-old's 62, and that's like in the top 1% of the world. And like I don't run, like I run a bit, but I don't run enough for it to be that. So like obviously it's impacting that. Reducing my risk of like dying from a heart condition by like 50%.
Yeah, cardiovascular disease and inflammation and like
the inflammation is big. Like brain inflammation and gut inflammation is the biggest sign of like mental health. Like I think when I know that I've got like brain inflammation is like when I'm not feeling okay. So it's like it's a signal for me to like go and work on myself. So like all of those benefits I was pretty aware of, even more so now that I own a sauna business. But like the feeling that, to go back to your initial question, I'd use the sauna and I'd just feel fucking great after it. I didn't know exactly why. Ice bath wasn't that great. It was fucking hard. But what it did was it made everything else easier during the day.
100%.
Like I've just done something really fucking hard in the morning. So like when something hard came across and like looked at me in the face, I was like, yeah,
Wasn't worse than that 7 minutes
Yeah.
and 3 degrees.
yeah.
You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like I use it as also as that it's something hard to do in the morning, but it's also something I use to prove myself that I can do something when I tell myself I can do something.
Yeah.
So when I set a promise to myself that in the mornings when I'm back at home from work,
Yeah.
it's straight in the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Even though it's winter and it's freezing,
Feels
and it
so
doesn't
good.
have to be like, you know, I normally do 5 or 6 minutes. If I jump in for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, at 4 or 5 degrees,
Yeah.
and I at the in the moment I'm like, why are you doing this? Jordan's like, what are you doing that for? You know, and it's obviously like the physical benefits, yes, but I almost use it as the mental benefits of
Yeah.
how I feel straight afterwards, how I feel, how I set myself up for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But it's also like you did it, Elliot. You said you were going to do something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you didn't want to do it.
Yeah. True.
But you told yourself you were going to do it and you did it.
Yeah.
And it's like reaffirms like you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
You know, you hold yourself accountable. If you're going to say something, you do it.
Yeah.
That's something that's really like improved my life.
Yeah.
And it carries
100%.
on for everything else.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's almost as if like that's a good thing, because like recently I've been starting to write down like to-do lists, which I've never really done before. I'd always get to the end of the day and I'd be like, oh fuck, I haven't done all the stuff. Like I haven't done all this stuff. And then as soon as you start writing out what you've done, you're like, oh, I feel a sense of achievement.
Yeah.
So if like you can battle those demons in the morning with yourself of like, I told myself I'm going to do this, I've just done this, everything's easy.
Everything's easy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's sort of been my path, and now like being able to put that into people's households and give them the ability to like obviously live longer, feel better, connect. Like if you're doing it with your partner, like sauna and ice bath, that's like a level of connection that like you need to have. I think like if you can go sit in the sauna and you just start asking each other questions and like
it
talking.
gets deep, eh?
Like it's
The
for
heat.
some reason.
Me and my mates do that. He's got a 6-man sauna.
Yeah.
And some of the questions that comes out, like the first 5 minutes, everyone's sort of like getting their bearings. And then when it's like 15 minutes in, some of the conversations we have is just some wild, deep conversations.
You know, like,
and it only brings it out by extreme conditions, like extreme heat. All of us are just like, I think all your walls get let down, or all your insecurities or fears or whatever it is. And then all these ideas start bubbling up. So we go to the saunas and have these sauna chats. We've got this little Facebook group called Sauna Chats, and we get in there. Some of the conversations that come out of it it's
wild.
Oh, we were like, can we film it? Can we somehow film the sauna chats and stuff like that? But I don't think gets too hot in there, I think.
Oh, you're going to need one like at mine. I've got like the glass on the back and you can put
do
your phone
ya?
on it.
That's sick.
Yeah. There's actually like some science around that. Hey, it's
Is
like,
there?
Yeah, I can't remember the study that was done, but I know like the crux of the study was that all of the major decisions that are made for for Finland are done in a sauna. All of the conversations that they have.
I've seen this too.
Yeah, the democratic conversations or like whatever they are, like they're like real political conversations happen in a sauna because they're super effective. And it's like I can't remember the science behind it, but it's
I think
like,
it breaks down the bullshit.
Yeah.
And it really like all the walls go down because you're in like survival mode almost, because you're in this extreme heat, and because you're in that survival mode, you're not thinking about agendas or biased opinions or trying to put your ego first or something. You're trying to survive. So it's like it's almost your most authentic thoughts or ideas that are coming through because there's no other stuff can afford to get through because you're in survival mode.
Correct. Like it's pretty cool. Hey.
Yeah, it's amazing. So how have you noticed your nervous system change since using the cold plunge and saunas and those sorts of things?
Quite dramatically.
Has it?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's just like harder conversations have been so much easier for me as well. Before I would like shy away from tough conversations, like not even in the sauna, right? Like I'd have sauna and ice bath in the morning, like fully emotionally regulate myself, like my nervous system's in check. I can deal with things so much more on a like stable mindset than like when I don't do it. The thing is, if I miss it, like subconsciously I'm like, my world's shutting down. But
I'm the same too.
I know to be like, that's not the reality, AJ. It's going to be all good.
So how did you, you've gone from a very, troubled upbringing, a lot of hardship, to a successful business owner.
Yeah.
Where was the gap there? Did you get mentors? Where was all your learning? Was it in the failings? Was it starting a business and failing? Did you have some mentors along the way to teach you sort of the ins and outs of, running, managing a business? And
Yeah. It was definitely a journey. I think in like 2013, I was like heavily into my MMA. I was fighting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I fought in November 2013 before it was sort of cool.
Yeah.
Before it was sort of mass market majority.
Yeah. How did you go?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm super grateful for my stepdad, and it came to his despise, was he got me into boxing when I was like 4. So I learnt how to box, and then he got me into Taekwondo when I was like 11. So I like learned a bit of discipline through that. So I knew how to fight, and that's when...
I guess you're comfortable in confrontation, would you say?
No, I'm always one to like pull away, but I know how to look after myself.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Yeah, if worst comes to worst. Like I'm always like, if there's a fight like if I'm involved like early days of like a street fight or whatever, I'll try and de-escalate it. But I know for a fact I can protect myself. And I have like a pretty good natural instinct with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of how I got kicked out of home. I didn't mention it before. It was like one of the nights that mum and my stepdad were arguing. It's like I got in the middle. He's like, "Rightio, let's go outside." And he used to always say it to me, like punch walls and shit. And when I was 14, I'm like, "All right, let's go outside." And mum's like screaming, "No." I just fucking hit him and like knocked him out. Like,
did ya?
Yeah, mum's like, "You got to leave now. Get out of the house." And I'm like, "Fuck!" I just
won.
Like, he can go.
So are you homeless?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah. So like me and my sister, like I'd lived on a few mates' couches in their spare bedrooms for like a year or something. Then me and my sister got a house together in Palm Beach.
Is it wild to think about now where you are in life?
Yeah.
And what you've got in your life.
Yeah.
And think about, does that feel like that was you, or does it feel like it was so long ago?
So long ago.
So long ago,
but I do have like vivid recollection.
Yeah, memories and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty grateful with what I've got now. I don't really need much. But the thing that scares me the most is like my daughter's 10. Brooklyn's, she's 10. And like...
I like that name.
Technically in 4 years, that was me when I left home.
Wow.
Like 4 years older than her, I was kicked out of home.
Kicked out of home fending for yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
That will put things in perspective.
Yeah,
massively.
Yeah. Like to know her, like what she is now, like it is like fucking crazy to think like it's fucked. Like it's actually like pretty fucking shit. But yeah.
Was there a period of time where you had to learn to forgive?
Yeah.
Not only just your mum, your stepdad, but
Yeah.
did you have to learn to forgive yourself?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It wasn't until I was probably about 28, I would say, that I fully learned to let go of it.
Yeah.
And like maybe when I was 30, like I still haven't like, I've connected with my real dad and stuff like that, but I still haven't like really forgiven his behaviors, like because he's like just super selfish and all of that. Still super selfish now, and like forgets birthdays and like all of that sort of shit. Like, so like there's parts of me that haven't fully forgiven or let go, but like I've definitely learned how to forgive, and like that life's too short to like hang on to any of that shit. While it was rough going through it, and nobody should ever go through that. It's like I've dealt with it. I'm not going to let anyone else deal with it in life. Like I'm never going to put somebody in that situation. So just like move on, be okay with the fact that he's still like, my family's still my family.
Yeah. I read a lot of like Tony Robbins, and I'm not too sure if you're familiar with Tony Robbins, and he talks about, people that have had really traumatic upbringings and childhoods, and they've gone on to be very successful in their own field, in their own right. And he talks about it, and he says, well, you wouldn't be that person.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be this successful person, this proud person, if you actually didn't go through that.
Correct.
And it almost releases that feeling of forgiveness, feeling of letting go. You're holding on to this almost resentment. I'm not saying that you are, but in terms of people that have gone through stuff, is almost let go of the baggage, let go of that. You don't need to be carrying it anymore. It doesn't serve you any purpose.
you wouldn't be who you are now.
You wouldn't be that
no.
the person you are now, the successful business owner, the proud father and husband.
Yeah.
If you didn't go through that in your life, and it's crazy to think about now, isn't it?
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's 100% wild. But to get back to your initial question,
what was it?
it's like, how did I get on the path of business?
Yeah.
That just sent me down a spiral because I was thinking, like, I just connected, like, my daughter is 14 in 4 years, and like I didn't have a home or parents or like so sorry for going down.
That's
that
right.
path. I was sponsored by them in that fight in like 2013. I broke my foot, my hand, and dislocated my shoulder, and I still won in the second round. I was banged up, like I knocked the guy out. He's got a couple of black eyes, like real disorientated in the back room, and I'm like crippled. Like,
can't
I'm
walk.
like, how the fuck did I win this? Like, how? Yeah. Anyway, so I went into my main sponsors that week to get some stuff to do some rehab, and they're like, hey, what are you doing now? Like the guy that owns the business, he's like, what are you going to do now? Like, have you ever thought about like what happens after footy and what happens after fighting? Like, what are you going to do?
What's plan B?
What's plan B? Like, what's your career going to be? Like, because life's a lot longer than like, I don't know, max age is like 30 years
10
old.
10 years
like,
of playing professional sport.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to think. And I was like, I've never really thought of it. And he's like, come and do some work in here. And I was like, oh yeah, sweet. Well, I obviously need money. I can't make any money at the moment. And then that was the start of that path. And now he's my best mate. He owns a very, very successful business, the AFS Group, which owns Force USA in the US, Stepper in the US, and he's one of my shareholders in my business. Like, he's my business partner. But yeah, he sort of took me on a journey, right? Like, it wasn't always like a full mentor, I would say, but like was in a way. So I experienced like the logistics side of things. I worked in the warehouse. I started in the warehouse, and then I was the warehouse manager. And then he obviously seen something in me, and I did then moved into like customer service and was like customer service manager, and dealing with customers and faults and law, like disagreements with like products and stuff like that. So I like learn all that. And then from there I moved into like product development and learned how to design products. I still design the number one product for them, which is like a Force USA G20 multifunctional trainer.
Yep. You designed it?
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like, so I learned all of that through all these years. I like seen all these, because I was privy to like a lot of conversations, like a fly on the wall. Like, I just absorbed it. I think like that was probably the best thing that I've ever done, because most people would just be like, I'm just here to check the box. But I just kept like absorbing information. And then just before COVID kicked off, like I was traveling to China heaps. I was in China when COVID kicked off, actually. But
the best place to be in.
I know. Me and him were like, oh, we're going to start a business together. We ended up starting an eyewear business just before COVID hit. We launched the business, done pretty well. We were pretty solid in our relationship at then. Like he'd taught me like how to communicate properly and like mentored me, sort of like a bit of a father, I suppose. But he's the same age as me, which is crazy.
Oh, right.
He's just like a lot more mature. He's experienced stuff in his world before. But I quickly learnt that like I didn't want to be a part of like eyewear business, because it's like, you're not helping people. Like, you're really not like impacting people's lives.
And that was your main driving force, was it?
I didn't know at the time.
Oh, you didn't know at the time?
Yeah, I didn't know at the time that like I truly wanted to help people live longer and like impact their lives. Sunglasses you can buy, they're not like, they look cool and stuff, but they're not like, this is helping you. And like the fitness equipment, which I was there for like 13 years or something, or not quite, is like, that was actually impacting people's lives, and I loved it also. But like, I got this opportunity to start a business with my best mate, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to start this. Like, this is going to be cool. Like, sunglasses cool. Quickly learned that's not what I want to do. I don't care if people buy sunglasses or not. Not passionate about it. Wasn't ticking my like personal like check boxes, I suppose. And then we had another business partner involved in that, and like I started disagreeing with the way the business was moving, and I was the main like operator in the business, so I was like seeing things that I didn't agree with, and I decided to pull myself away from that business, and my best mate didn't understand why and was like starting to like blame me for the business going down the way. But we were able to communicate through that, like really strong communicators together, and quickly realised like I'm not the issue. So I exited that business. I knew that it was like going down the path that it was. It ended up like pretty much closing after like a year and a half after I left. But I went back and started doing like innovation for his business. And what we're doing is we're looking at other areas of opportunity for the business to grow core competency. So like another business that if, for instance, the fitness industry went to shit, that they had like some sort of security, like because they were working in it. And I knew that it needed to be in the wellness space, or because I'm passionate about it, wellness or fitness. It can't be outside of that. Even though the sunglasses was in the fitness space, it just wasn't impactful. And then, yeah, did like this whole heap of research, got a whole heap of data, looked for areas of opportunity, created 100 different businesses with like, it sounds crazy, but like when you put it on a whiteboard and you have like Donald Trump or like bloody Joe Rogan or like all these different
It's
people,
crazy.
like Tony Robbins was even one. Then you just create 5 businesses thinking with their hat on, like what would he do? What would Elon Musk do? What would X, Y, Z do? You can quickly build out these businesses, and then you look at them on a whiteboard and you're like, that's unrealistic, that's unrealistic, that's unrealistic, rah, rah. And then you start highlighting a couple of businesses where you're like, oh, that, like based off what we know from the research data that we got, that could probably solve the problem that these people have. And then we sort of picked 5 that problem solvers, and then started building out businesses around them. And we took them businesses in front of people, and we're like, hey, what do you think when you first see this business? Would it like serve your purpose? Would it solve your problem? And quickly broke it down to like the escapist headphones, which was a mental health thing, was like the number one thing. And saunas and ice baths were another thing, and like some like supplements and stuff were the other. But like I was determined on mental health because I'm like, this can truly impact people's lives. So I just went balls deep into it. I like invested all my money into that. But knew, like, from all that research, that saunas and ice baths were an opportunity. I thought it was pretty capped out. And then, started the headphone thing, and then clipped that, and then thought, fuck, I know how to do this business without putting any money down. Let's just give it a crack. Built the website, launched it, and, it took off. It's
Incredible,
pretty cool. Yeah. It's been a pretty big journey when you start, like, looking at it, like, on that
scale.
timeline. Yeah.
It's easy to like think about it now, and it feels like when you tell the story, all the dots are connecting.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it just feels like you're sort of, going, how's this going to end?
Just throwing shit at
the wall.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what are you most proud of? Not professionally, but personally, what are you most proud of?
Yeah, probably the father that I've
become.
Yeah. Even though that I still question myself, and I'm like, I'm not the father these girls need. I know that I am.
You are.
I really are. Like I know that my purpose is them. I'm proud of that, and I'm honestly proud of like me being able to give back in regards to like sharing my story and journey, and like letting people out there know that like you're not like alone in this journey. Like there's people that have been through it, and giving them inspiration to know that they can get out of like housing commission, for instance, or like not to be embarrassed about it. I'm pretty proud that I actually have the balls to speak about like that. I got a message off this girl on Facebook, on Instagram, probably like a month ago, and she's like, looking at her on face value, is like, there's no way this chick grew up in housing commission. Like, look at her Instagram. And she messaged me, I won't say her name because she wants to keep it confidential because she doesn't tell anyone, but she's like, I'm so proud of you being able to say this. This is how I grew up. Like, my mum still lives in the same house. Same as me, my mum still lives in the same house I grew up in, bro.
Right.
Yeah. And she's like, my ex-boyfriend just did not understand it. Like, did not understand that I was embarrassed about it and all this, and that's why they broke up. But she just like sent me this big thank you message, and I'm so proud that I can share my journey and that like I can inspire other people to be like.
And that's the thing, like you said there, is not letting the past define you. I think a lot of people sort of get caught up in that what's happened to me is me, and it will always be me.
Yeah.
And it's not what happened to you. It's how you react to it and what you make of your life. And like so many times you can sort of fall into the victimhood. I know I did with the things that have sort of played out in my life. I went through a period of why me?
Yeah.
Playing that victim role.
Yeah.
Gets you nowhere.
It doesn't.
It gets you absolutely nowhere. It doesn't serve any purpose at all. And that's a beautiful message is, what's happened to you has happened to you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's going to be your future or the rest of your life. You can always change, improve, get better.
Yeah. Nobody's going to save you.
No.
You've got to save yourself.
And that's the thing. No one's coming for you to save you.
And like the biggest thing is with the victim mentality is you think that somebody's going to come save you.
You're waiting for it. You're like, maybe it's next year. Something's going to happen to me next year and I'll get myself out of this spot.
Yeah.
And the next year comes, you're thinking, no one's here. I'm still in the same spot.
There's like bloody 50-year-old men that are just so attached to that being the victim. Like my brother's the same. Like, hope he doesn't see this because he
in what way?
But like, he just like still blames mum and stuff for allowing us to grow up like that and just won't let it go. And which is sad because like he doesn't come to any family stuff and he's probably repeating a fair few behaviours that we grew up in and not even realising that.
Isn't it interesting that siblings can go through the same thing?
Yeah.
But end up two different paths.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like it's 100%. You could be involved in the same traumatic incident and one person go this way and one person be motivated to make change and they go this way. Like it just comes down to like how bad do you want to change for yourself? Like because as we said, like nobody's saving you. You got to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you measure success beyond financial metrics in your business?
Yeah, I couldn't give a fuck about finances,
Really?
Like, I really could not give two fucks.
Not many
about
business
it.
owners say that.
Like, it's all good and well to drop, like, we're doing, like, the numbers that we're doing and stuff. But, like, with that comes, like, a lot of people people don't actually care. They're like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, what's that do for me? It's like, how do I measure success in the business? Is, like, realistically, like how many people can I positively impact? And like I fucking love it when people like send me a message and they're like, I love your products, like there's nothing more rewarding than that. Like and then people that have had issues like with like cancer or like mental health or whatever, and they message you and they're like, just want to thank you for making these products accessible to everyone. That's
you
really
made my
cool.
Life better.
Yeah that's
the end goal.
Yeah, that's the end goal. And I think like the biggest success for me would just be like also having a team around me that like lives and breathes my values. Like that's success for me, like giving them opportunity to make a difference, to help impact their families, like obviously giving them opportunity to work so they can impact their families, but also like having fun along the way and like living and breathing the same core values that I live.
Was that been a bit of a challenge finding the right people for the right roles that share the same core values?
Yeah, we're going through that at the moment,
to
be honest.
Yeah.
It's very, very challenging the way the business is set up because we share services through the two businesses. So at the moment, I'm just trying to reset that. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, like, because I just think that, like, the business is going to impact so many more people if we are all aligned. Like, it's not like that they're not aligned, but it's like, let's just create this, like, energy that nobody can match.
That culture at work. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So that's really important to me. Like, I want to be able to invite anyone over to my house and have dinner with them that works for us and not feel like I've got to do this. I want to do this, like, because we're so aligned. Like,
almost remove that almost boss, figure there, where it's just like, no, we're all the same people. Doing the same thing. Trying to achieve the same goal.
It's
I
like when you meet someone like on social media, and you have like this expectation of them, and you meet them, and you're like, fuck, this guy's just one of me.
Yeah,
like he's
yeah,
just
it's
one
the
of
best.
Me. It's the best
Yeah.
feeling, and
Yeah.
like having that same sort of feeling for my team is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So we got 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I got some quick fire questions to
Yeah, go
end,
for it.
so you can answer these as quickly or as long as you want.
Yeah.
What are your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life?
Oh, training. It's
Training?
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like training, like just moving my body. Sorry. Daily.
Yeah. So what does sort of training look like for you? Is it gym? Is it running?
I've got a gym at home, so I
Nice.
like to do some resistance training
Mm.
and stuff. Like to look good because it makes me feel good as well. But like running is my go-to when my body's not banged up from footy. But I love running. I'm actually running the Gold Coast Marathon with 2 guys. Matt Gillette that played for the Queensland,
Broncos?
yeah,
Oh, right.
Maroons, and then like another good mate of ours, Damien Meneguzzo. We're raising money for Rise Up, a domestic violence charity.
Oh, I love
So
that.
what they do is they without going away from the question too much, there's families that have been involved in domestic violence. They will go and get a house rental for these families to move into. They'll go and make it as homely as possible. So they furnish it for them. They find out like the colours the kids like, the colours the mum like, what the mum likes doing, to make them feel safe and make them feel like a home when they've been pulled away from their actual home.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's pretty impactful.
What's it called? Sorry.
Rise Up.
Rise Up.
With a ZRIZE.
Yeah.
So yeah, partnered with them. We're going to raise some money for them. I love running. Like the reason we're doing running is because it's like we all love doing it.
Yeah.
So moving for me,
Yeah.
is the biggest thing. That's non-negotiable for me. That's probably my biggest number one non-negotiable.
Is running.
No, like just like moving
Yeah.
fitness, and then like connection. Like I need connection. Like I need to either pick up the phone or like just have a powerful conversation, like with my kids, like a meaningful, not powerful.
Yeah.
That's the wrong word. Like just a meaningful conversation, not just like, how was your day?
Yeah.
They don't want to tell me how their fucking day was. So like just some sort of connection as well. I probably only have 2, and that just sets me up.
Sets you up.
Yeah.
I love that. I've actually got a photo of me and Matt Gillette from about 15 years
No
ago.
way.
Yeah.
Should share it with me.
Yeah, I should. I actually said it's on my Facebook.
Come for a run.
We're out. He was on the sunny coast,
Yeah.
and I saw him at a club when I was like 18.
Oh,
and
far
I'm a mad Broncos supporter, so I was like, Matt Gillette. I got a photo with him.
Yeah.
I actually sent it through to you. It's a pretty funny photo.
He's just one of them guys that's just a normal guy, bro.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a down to earth guy. Like as soon as I said, he just messaged us and was like, "Hey, I'm going to do the Gold Coast Marathon. Do you want to do it? And we'll raise money for like domestic violence fund because that's what you've been through." And I was like, "Fuck, let's go."
Yeah.
Let's go.
Has
Like-
he got a connection there with domestic violence?
No.
He just
he just wants to
Oh, what a
loves my
legend.
story and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Met him through Damien, our mutual
Yeah.
friend. Which
Oh,
is cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good fella.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, fuck. I get asked this question all the time. It always changes.
Does it?
Yeah, probably like don't be afraid to fail. I think that's probably like the best advice because it's something I actually genuinely live by that, and don't give a fuck what everyone else thinks. Like
As hard as that is.
yeah, it's
to be
really
yourself,
hard.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
just
Like,
yeah,
you know, in a world where you can. I think Gabor Mate finished the seminar off,
yeah.
and he was talking about 4 hours, and he said, "In a world where you can be anyone, be yourself."
Fuck, that's a quote I love.
Yeah,
That is a quote
Isn't it?
I love. Like, yeah.
you can be anywhere. You can be anyone in the world. You can have all these filters on. You can, put yourself in all these highlight reels. But being yourself is the most important thing you can do. But it's also,
100%.
in nowadays, it's probably the hardest thing to do is to be yourself.
Be authentic.
Be authentic, yeah.
Yeah. There's that book like Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
Like the fucks bucket.
Yeah.
I reference that
Yeah.
a fair bit. Someone commented on my post last night, some troll, and he was like, this bloke should not wear budgies or be on Instagram or something. Like, just like, it was way worse than that. And I just wrote, this bloke does not give 2 fucks what you think. Just
Go
like,
straight into the bucket.
yeah.
Who's your hero?
Who's my hero? Oof. I would say myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I'd say, like, as weird as that sounds,
No,
it's like I'm somebody that I look up to.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm somebody that the little AJ needed when he was 14.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And didn't have. So like, yeah, I'd say that for sure.
If you could go back to a time in your life, where would you go and why?
Oh, that's a heavy one. Yeah, I'd probably go back and spend a bit more time with my pop, like my real pop. We lost him randomly to like with a heart attack during COVID, and that really sucked. I didn't really get the chance like to spend the time that I wanted to with him either. I would say like he had a really good relationship with my dad, and I just would want to would want to spend more time with him to get to know him a bit better and get to know him true self. Because like I think like looking back on it, there's some habits and stuff that I see in myself that I see in him. Like, so I just would want to like spend a bit more time with him, understanding like his journey through life, because you hear it and you have all these assumptions and like you have all these, I'd say they're almost like false memories of like what the reality is versus the truth of what that person was when he growing up. So yeah, I'd probably just go back and spend some like genuine time with him, like fully disconnect, go and I don't know.
Bond.
Yeah, go and bond.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Last one. How have you learnt to have a better relationship with yourself? Have a better relationship with the voice inside you and be kinder when you're struggling?
Whoa. That's something that I'm learning every day. Still learning. I just know the power of it though. Like I've really learnt the power of like battling your own demons. Like, because there's always that like self-doubter, the self-hater, the self-criticizer, the self-sabotager that you have on one of your shoulders, and then there's also the biggest like promoter of you on the other shoulder. And it's just like dealing with that, and it's definitely a journey, and it's ever evolving. I think you can't just be like, oh, I've fixed everything. It's like you're gonna be fixing everything the rest of your life, and knowing how to deal with that is probably like the journey that I'm on currently. And yeah, telling myself that it's going to be all good. Like everything's all good. Like we wake up every day. Like we
live a pretty amazing life.
100%.
In a pretty amazing part of the world.
Oh, 100%. Like I've seen some places and you're just like, holy shit, I'd hate to grow up here. So yeah, my journey's been pretty shit, but I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm not addicted to drugs, or like I don't drink alcohol. Like I don't need that to get off. Like I'm just pretty happy.
Yeah, well, I think you've seen the harsh reality of the effects of drugs and alcohol, that you don't need it in your life.
100%. Yeah, nobody needs that.
I've actually just gone 18 months sober.
Fuck, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish I'd done it. We can always have a bit of hindsight and talk about, I wish I'd done it when I was actually sort of in the peak of or prime of my footy playing days, and how much that would have actually affected my performance and where I would have ended up. Because I know it definitely hampered me in some aspects of, especially my recovery and preparing for games, and it got to a really bad spot at one point. So it was always a thing that I was toying with for years. Like, I've heard people sort of talk about what being sober has done for them, and I was really envious and jealous of that. And I was thinking, well, why can't I do it? And I made the call 18 months ago now, and it's so good. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Like,
it's that good.
I love it. I wish I'd done it earlier.
I know, it's crazy how many people are doing it. Like I done a post 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks ago, of like just screenshotted my my like sober app. I did the reason I wanted to know, I just wanted to know how long I hadn't drunk for, and I put it into this app and I screenshot it and posted on, and I had like 20 different people message me and be like, I've been sober for 2 years. This is like this is, and it was just like really cool to see. historically, you would have never got that. You would have been like, huh, you've come to a party and you're not drinking? What are you? Like, like
loser.
All the words under the sun.
Yeah.
And you're like, but now I rock up and I'm like, I got my Coke. I went to my sister's daughter's 21st a couple of weeks ago. I took a 6-pack of Coke, no sugars.
Yeah, sick.
And I'm like, I don't care. I loved it.
I went to Dan Murphy's and got non-alcoholic, these non-alcoholic drinks. I got to ask for ID.
What?
I'm like, mate, what's going on here?
Non-alcoholic and must
I'm
have wanted to know your name. They wanted to know your name.
Yeah, what's going on?
You got a new follower on Instagram.
But it's honestly, it's been one of the best decisions I've made, to be honest with you. Like to cut it all out.
Yeah.
To be a better version and to see the world clearer and like
100%.
not have that temptation. But it's also like, I'm not saying that people that do drink or do drugs don't respect themselves, but the way I looked at it, I wasn't respecting my body and I wasn't being disciplined with the things I wanted to achieve in life. And I knew that it was holding me back. It was holding me back from, achieving things, but it was actually holding me back from being a better version of myself.
Yeah.
And every time I did it, I'd feel shit because I was like, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It makes you feel crap. You don't even like it.
Yeah.
Why do you keep doing it for? Why do you keep like going through these cycles of it? Like, and it was almost like, all right, if you love yourself and respect yourself, then you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
And that's when like it started to change. And the longer it went on, the more proud I got of myself, the more respect I got from myself, the more discipline I had in other areas of my life, just because I was sticking to this one thing, that it just translated throughout my whole life.
It's so remarkable, like the actual impact that it has, like that little habit stacking. Spoke about is like insane. It's the same with like the ice bath in the morning, right? Like you've done something hard. So there's no way in hell you're going to go and eat something shit. Like subconsciously, you could pull into a McDonald's and you'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like drive out, like even if you were so hungry, because you've done something hard.
Keep the momentum going.
Yeah, and like it's like a natural thing. Like I know if I ice bath in the morning, I'm not going to eat shit food. I know drinking alcohol, it just sets me up.
We're going straight to Macca's.
You
know what I mean?
And
then it like
100%.
Then you can't train and you're tired, you sleep in. It's almost like a ripple effect of like bad choices, bad outcomes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. It's really good to see. Like I love reading the reports, like financial reports of like beer companies, and they're like, actually beer companies are approaching companies like mine to buy them because they need to be in the wellness industry. Because they're losing market share because no one's drinking. Like a lot of people aren't drinking. They're losing like massive. So they're looking at other areas of opportunity for their businesses to invest.
It's crazy how it's all coming around.
Wild, hey.
We better wrap it up.
Awesome.
AJ, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Getting to know you on a more personal level, and thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's obviously such an inspiration. And I admire you and have the utmost respect for you and what you've gone through and what you achieved and what you're still, continuing to do, and the man that you are, the father that you are. So it's been a pleasure to chat to you and get to know you, mate. It's been unreal.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for being vulnerable with your story as well. Like, it's pretty empowering to hear for me as well, that like there's just some things that you said and I was like, fuck me, like me and this guy have lived similar lives but not similar lives.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty wild.
So, no, I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mind Your Head. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really supports the show and helps others discover us. Don't forget to join us on Instagram and TikTok at mindyourhead.podcast.